Welcome to the Let's Get Vulnerable podcast. It's your host, Dr. Morgan. I am so excited about this episode. I am a little bit fired up about this. I've been noticing a trend on social media that needs to stop. And it really frustrates me because it's misinformation getting spread to people. You may have seen one of these posts, and I don't know, hopefully, you all have enough information to not believe this, but I don't know. I just wanted to make sure that we could set the record straight about avoidant attachment style and specifically what happens when avoidantly attached partners fall in love. Because the misinformation that I'm seeing is that there are people doing these posts, and it really bothers me, okay? Because I have dedicated so much of my time to understanding attachment styles. And when I see people who I don't know where they get their information, but I, I'm not going to make claims about their intentions. Maybe their intentions are good, but they're clearly spreading misinformation. It just really bothers me. But there's people who have been saying, and it's not just one person, it's multiple accounts. They're saying that this is what happens when avoidantly attached partners fall in love. And what they're saying, they're perpetuating the myth that if somebody with avoidant attachment is really in love, that then somehow they're going to show up magically with secure attachment. Let me give you an example of what these posts are saying. There's one, and I'm not going to name any names. I'm really not trying to be judgmental. My main motive for this podcast is just to make sure that everyone has the correct information. Okay. So I won't name names, but this is what the post says. It says this. So, how do avoidant partners act when they are in love? While avoidant partners value independence, they also crave love and connection just like anyone else. And if they love you, they will show it. Here are 7 signs that your avoidant partner is falling in love with you. The post goes on to say, they initiate contact. They are reaching out to you. They're reaching out more often. They're showing that they think of you, etc. They share their time with you. And then it says avoidant partners typically guard their time, but if they're setting aside regular time for you, it's a very big sign. They open up. They share personal stories or vulnerabilities, which is a significant step out of their comfort zone. They include you, inviting you into previously solo spaces like their home or introducing you to close friends is a sign of deep trust. They're thoughtful. They may go out of their way to do something for you, which is their nonverbal way of showing that they care. They're respectful. Instead of constant check-ins, they show love by respecting your autonomy, perhaps mistakenly equating love with non-intrusion. 7, they take action. They may offer practical solutions to your problems as their way of showing you that they care. And here is the issue that I have with this post is it's claiming that this is what an avoidant partner does when they're in love. And that is simply the wrong way of positioning this. Everything that I just listed, those are signs of someone who wants to be in a healthy, securely attached relationship. And if they do struggle with avoidant attachment, it means that they're really working on themselves in order to get to that place. The idea that, oh, if we can just get the avoidant partner to love us enough, the emotionally unavailable partner, if we can just get them to love us, that then they are going to show up and they're going to do all these things. That is one of the most toxic viewpoints that we can have. It is so damaging because it makes you think, oh, if I'm enough, if I show up a certain way, if I can get them to love me, then they'll be a healthy partner to me. That is the major issue that I have with this post. And in fact, I commented on it, and this comment got over 200 likes and a ton of responses. And here's what I said. I said, this is not what happens when avoidantly attached people are in love. This is perpetuating the myth that if you can just get someone with avoidant attachment to fall in love, then they will change. And that is simply not true. Someone with avoidant attachment style may do some of these things for a short period of time, but they will struggle to maintain it. And then I said, please be careful who you get your information from. I really want to make this point clear. This is not bad mouthing people with avoidant attachment. This is actually validating their experience that, and those of you listening who struggle with avoidant attachment, you know what I'm talking about, where when you are in love, you are distancing, you are pulling away, you have all of these unconscious responses that come up for you. It's not as if you can just decide, oh, I really want to be emotionally available. I really want to start reaching out. Oh, I really want to spend more time with my partner. You can't just decide and then change. It's not, oh, I really love this person, so let me just show up with a lot more emotional capacity. That's not how healing works. Someone with avoidant attachment style, when they are in love, they're going to experience the unconscious desire to distance from the relationship. They're going to experience the desire to show up with hyper independence, meaning not depending on your partner for love and support. You're going to experience the desire of not connecting to your emotions and certainly struggling when your partner brings up emotions. And there's going to be a lot of devaluing of the relationship. There's all kinds of things that the avoidantly attached person will experience, but it doesn't mean that they don't love the person. With avoidant attachment style, you love the person and the distancing is showing up, and the inability to maintain close, deeply intimate relationships is happening simultaneously with love. It's not this myth that's out there online that's pissing me off that, oh, if I love someone enough, then I'll be emotionally available. No. So what can we learn from this, and what are some actual real helpful pieces of advice for someone who is either avoidantly attached themselves or someone who is dating someone with avoidant attachment? I wanted to make sure that I gave you some things that could actually be really helpful to you. So I came up with a list of 7 things that if you yourself are avoidantly attached or you're dating somebody with avoidant attachment, these are the things that you would want to work on. And these are the things that would help the relationship work towards secure attachment. So I'm going to go over those 7 things. And let me just clarify something. I am in no way saying that someone with avoidant attachment is not capable of a healthy, secure, loving relationship. That's not true. I get asked this question all the time, so let me set the record straight here. When you have 2 people who have insecure attachment styles, they have attachment woundings, they have relational trauma from their past, and they come together, and maybe there's a little bit of secure attachment on each side, but neither one of them is fully securely attached. What happens when those 2 come together? Are you destined to have an unhealthy relationship? Or is it possible that you could heal and grow together? I will tell you this, it is number 2. It is absolutely available for that couple, the couple that has insecure attachment on both sides. You can grow together, and you can co-create, keyword co-create. Notice I didn't say one person do all the emotional labor and fix the relationship. You can co-create secure attachment. What is required is that both people realize what they're bringing to the relationship, both people take ownership, both people are working on themselves as individuals, and they're working to show up as more securely attached as an individual. And they've committed to, we want to co-create a securely attached relationship. It is possible. And I will tell you this, it is more challenging. It is very difficult. This is why, when possible, I think it is so powerful and so helpful for you to become securely attached so that you're showing up to the relationship with so many resources, with so much emotional capacity, and you're able to more easily create a securely attached relationship. So I'm really a proponent of work on yourself as much as you can to become securely attached, because that will help you so much in co-creating secure attachment with your partner. And obviously, you guys know this. I love helping people become securely attached. That is my life's work. It's my mission. After years of myself being in toxic relationships and surviving a toxic, horrible, abusive relationship with a narcissist and getting out of that, and then finally, when I was at rock bottom, deciding that I deserve to heal and doing the work and working on myself for nearly a decade and learning everything I could about rewiring my brain to become securely attached and what needed to change, right? After dedicating my life to this, it is my honor and it's my greatest calling in life to help as many people as possible become securely attached, because I know what life was like before and I know what life is like now. And I really think that everyone is deserving of the peace, of the fulfillment, of the calm nervous system, and the joy that comes from showing up securely attached and building healthy, loving, emotionally safe relationships that can last. Like, everyone is deserving of that. No matter what you've experienced in your life, I want you to know you're deserving of that. And obviously, if you need to do this work, I'd love to help you. You can apply to the Empowered.Secure.Loved program using the link in the show notes. We have an incredible Black Friday offer. It is ridiculous. You're getting over $2,000 worth of content completely free. You also, for the first 10 people who join the program, there's only a couple of these left, by the way, because we've had so many people joining. But I'm hesitant to even say this because I hope it's still available. But for the first 10 people, you'll also get the Boundaries Are Hot hat, the limited edition hat. And I will be mailing it to your doorstep as my gift to you. So don't wait. If you've been on the fence about doing the work, you deserve the life that you're going to have when you're securely attached, not to mention the relationships. All right, y'all, I'm sending you so much love. You can check out that link in the show notes. Let's get on with it, shall we? I want to talk about the 7 things that you can actually do to help the relationship when one partner is showing up with avoidant attachment. Number 1, there needs to be clarity on wants and needs. That's a simple statement, but there's a lot there. Let me clarify a little bit. When we are, especially in the early stages of a relationship, when we're building secure attachment, there's reassurance that's needed. Reassurance can come in a lot of forms. It can come from communication. It can come from that good morning text. It can come from the define the relationship talk where you're saying, hey, we're exclusive. We are going to be in an exclusive relationship and we're not dating other people. Reassurance can come from talking about future plans and saying, I'm so excited to have you at my family's house for Thanksgiving, right? Reassurance can come from physical touch. There's a lot of ways reassurance can show up in your relationship. And one of the things I always coach people on is getting clear on, what do you need? What does reassurance look like for you to help build a securely attached foundation? Some of us have never thought about that. The majority of us, we've never thought about that. You've never stopped to ask yourself, what do I need? What does my nervous system and my attachment system need in order to feel securely attached? So that is really key. Number one, clarity on your wants and needs. And even more specifically, what does it look like for you to be reassured and to be at that securely attached baseline? And please note that when I'm talking about this, there's also wants and needs that you need to give yourself. There are things that your partner cannot give you, and you may be secretly, unconsciously wanting your partner to give it to you, but in fact, you're the only one that can give it to yourself. Like knowing that you are enough, knowing that you are so worthy of love, knowing that you deserve to be fully chosen and that you are the whole damn meal, right? Right? That you're only accepting a fully committed relationship. We're not settling for crumbs. And those are things that only you can do for yourself, of healing your self-worth and knowing that you're enough. So when I say, for number one, clarity on your wants and needs, it's also, what are the things you need to give yourself? Okay, number two on the list of 7 here. Number 2 is, your partner needs to know that you are capable of self-soothing. Have you ever been in a relationship with someone where no matter what's going on, you know that if they are emotionally dysregulated, you are going to have to drop everything and you are going to have to be there and text them through it. And you might be spending all night with this person because you know that they're not going to be able to self-soothe. This is an exhausting relationship to be in. And with anxious attachment, this is unfortunately one of the beliefs, and it comes out of trauma, right? Is that I need other people to soothe my emotions and that I can't do it myself. So there's this outsourcing to other people of, I need you to regulate my emotions. And what that does is it really pushes away the avoidantly attached partner, because they're going, oh, my belief system is true. People will ask too much of me. I won't be able to handle other people's emotions, right? So for both people in the relationship, you both need to know you can self-soothe. You're not going to expect your partner to do all of the work. My caveat is this: of course, there's going to be times where you also need your partner's help in soothing. There's going to be the majority of times where you're able to self-soothe quite a bit and you're able to kind of regulate. And then you're still going to need to also go to your partner. The idea is this: that you're not putting everything on your partner and expecting them to completely do all the emotional labor for you, because that is so draining and so exhausting. And particularly if you're someone with avoidant attachment strategies, that's going to feel completely overwhelming and it's going to increase your desire to distance. Okay, so that was number 2. Both people need to be capable of self-soothing. Okay, let me drink my Element. You guys, I'm obsessed with Element. Let me just say, it has changed my energy levels. I used to drink coffee first thing in the morning, and now I drink Element. And it's a electrolyte with magnesium, and it just has completely restored my energy levels. I look forward to drinking it when I wake up. I can't say enough about it. Also, it's a Montana company. Hello, Montana small business represent. They're big business now, but I just really love this company. It's LMNT. No, I'm not sponsored by them, but if I was ever going to have someone sponsor the show, it would be them. Okay. Moving on. Number 3, this is a big one. You want to make sure that you're honoring your partner's boundaries. So if they say, hey, I'm going to go fishing, that's what comes to mind because that's what my fiance wants to do. And it's really important to him. And I can tell you this, he feels so loved and appreciated. And it helps him feel so safe in our relationship when I say, yes, of course, I want you to go fishing on Saturdays, or of course I want you to go with your friend. You know, I support that it's something that he needs to do and it's really important to him, and I honor that. Also, if your partner says, "Hey, I'm not really able to talk about this right now. It's too much for me." Someone with avoidant attachment, if they're able to voice, "Hey, this is bringing up a lot. It feels like too much." That's a really important thing that they said. The fact that they communicated that, wow, that's awesome. That shows that they're starting to get in touch with their emotions and they're expressing a boundary when in the past they would just shut down and pull away. So if someone tells you, I'm not able to talk about this right now, it's really important to honor that boundary. And then you can also come up with a time when you're going to revisit it. Because I know I hear some people going like, but when are we going to talk about it? The anxiously attached people. Don't worry. You can say, we can't talk about this now, and say, I hear you. I totally get it. When would be a good time for us to come back to this conversation? Right. So, anyways, that's number 3. Honor your partner's boundaries. Number 4, this is important with avoidant attachment. You may have someone who desires more space. And as someone who is healed from disorganized attachment style, I can tell you that there have been times in my life where I was that person, where I was, primarily kind of showing up with avoidant attachment strategies in my relationship. And I've also dated plenty of people who were showing up with avoidant strategies. And I think the realization of, wow, space to be an individual, space to know that I can be myself. I can still hold on to the things that are important to me. This relationship is not changing me. When I was in past relationships and I was dating someone who also had disorganized attachment, which then creates this kind of like what a trauma bond is essentially two people with disorganized attachment style, because when one's anxious, the other's avoidant, vice versa. That's a whole other podcast episode. But when I was going through that and I was dating someone and we were off and on for 3 years, break up, get back together, when I would travel, even if it was for work, there would be the silent treatment. There would be the guilting, oh, well, go have fun with your friends while I'm here going to work, blah, blah, blah. And I can't tell you how painful that was for me, because I wanted to maintain the relationship, but I felt like I had to choose between the relationship and who I was and what was important to me. And now being in a really healthy, securely attached relationship where, of course, we have stuff, but we always work through it. My fiance and I, when I travel, he is so supportive. He's cheering me on. He loves to stay updated, but he also gives me my space. And he knows that it's really important for me what I'm doing. And a lot of times it's podcast interviews or it's speaking or it's something for work, right? And he knows how important it is to me. And I feel deep in my bones that I get to be me and I get to be his partner. And a lot of times when someone is healing through avoidant attachment strategies, they deeply need to know this, that being in a relationship is not going to cause them to lose their identity, and that they can actually be celebrated and supported in honoring who they are. So for number 4, I said space and time. And another thing, when I say time, a lot of times with working through avoidant attachment, the pacing, the emotional investment of the relationship is likely going to be slower. And if you are someone who is dating someone with avoidant attachment strategies, you get to decide, am I comfortable with the pacing? Sometimes just knowing that this is common is going to help you of going, oh yeah, well, of course they're investing more slowly. Of course the milestones are happening more slowly because there's some avoidance strategies. Sometimes just having the awareness will help you. And other times you may be at this place where you're showing up fully emotionally available. You are really ready for that serious, deeply committed relationship. And when you're honest with yourself about the pacing, it's not meeting your needs. And you want to be with someone where it's happening more quickly, where the emotional investment is more easy, more fluid. And we have to normalize that that's also okay. Sometimes we're not able to meet our partners where they are, even if they are healing, even if they're working on themselves and they're acknowledging that, hey, yeah, I have this attachment style and I'm working on it. Sometimes it still doesn't match what we need. What I want to say is, if you are the person that is not getting their needs met and you're struggling with this, with the pacing speed, you owe it to yourself and you owe it to your partner to be honest about that and to directly express it. So saying something like, hey, I really value our relationship and I know we both value honesty. That's why I want to be honest with you. I'm realizing that I'm investing emotionally more quickly and I'm feeling distant from you. I'm feeling sad. I'm feeling disappointed when I realize that you're holding back or there's times when you're pulling away. Can we talk about this? So you have to be willing to have those conversations, okay? For your sake and for your partner's sake, because sometimes just by naming what's happening, it can shift, it can change. So I could say so much about this. I do have full podcast episodes on relationship pacing and on reassurance. So by all means, if you're like, well, I need more on that topic, go find those other episodes. All right, moving on. Number 5, helping somebody with avoidant attachment style. You have to encourage them to have their hobbies, to have their friendships. And if you're invited, you should join if you want to, if you can, right? It's really meaningful to be invited into someone's world when for them, that's a big step. So if you're dating somebody with avoidant attachment style, and let's say they're inviting you to their friend's birthday, just realize like that feels vulnerable, and being able to be there and show up, that's a big step, just as an example. All right, we're getting to the end here. Number 6, it's important that you start to learn each other's love languages. I always think of this. Love languages help build secure attachment. When we understand our partner's love language, it makes it easier for us to internalize reassurance, going all the way back to number 1. So, for example, if I'm dating somebody with avoidant attachment style, maybe they struggle with words of affirmation. That would be super common, by the way, like super common. So, maybe the way that they show love and emotional investment is through acts of service. And I want to be really aware that, oh, when they cook me dinner, oh, when they brought me that latte to work. I remember my twin sister and her now husband. This was back, oh my gosh, I don't even know what year this was, maybe 2014. I don't know. When they were first dating, my twin sister was working at Target in downtown Portland, and it was a crazy Target, y'all. Like there was always stuff getting stolen. It was a pretty stressful job. And she's working at Target. And my now brother-in-law, he would show up with my sister's favorite latte at pretty much every shift that she had. Sometime like during her break, he would show up and he would bring her a latte. And I just think about that consistency and the acts of service and the acknowledgement that she was having a hard shift, right? And the connection. There's so much there that's said, that's saying I love you without even saying the words. So when we have a relationship with an insecure attachment dynamic, let's be really curious about, well, what are the other ways that my partner's showing up to give me reassurance? All right, here we go. Number 7, the final way that I have on this list that you can help someone with avoidant attachment in a relationship is this: empathic listening and corrective emotional experiences. This is so powerful. This is the things that help people heal in relationships, because there's so much healing we do on our own, and there's also so much healing that we do inside of our relationships. And one of the keys is empathic listening and corrective emotional experiences. That means when your avoidantly attached partner, when they share, when they are brave and they're opening up about their feelings, instead of invalidating, instead of being critical, instead of talking about yourself, you validate, you let them know that they're heard, you repeat back to them what they said. And then they're having this corrective experience of, oh, when I express my emotions or when I express my needs, I'm heard and understood. I'm not shut down. My partner's not critical of me. I'm not made fun of, right? Whatever they experienced from their childhood or from earlier relationships, they have all that data of Y happens after X, right? I express my emotions and then Y happens. They have all that data. And when you can show up differently, you're helping rewire their brain. You're helping them see, oh, it doesn't always have to be that my partner's pulling away, or it doesn't always have to be that my partner is making it about them. Don't we all love that? When if we're saying, well, you hurt my feelings because you were 20 minutes late, and then someone turns around and says, well, I was 20 minutes late because you didn't text me all day. Isn't that just like the nightmare? I mean, how many of you have been in relationships like that? I know I have in the past, like super toxic relationships where it was like any time I would express something that was hurtful that happened, right? Or something that I needed to give feedback on, it would always get turned around on me. Man, like sometimes we have to realize that there is a reason why people develop avoidant attachment, and it's because of past hurtful experiences where they learned intimacy isn't safe. So by you showing up and helping create intimacy that is safe, you're helping rewire their brain. You're helping them learn, I can be safe and connected to my partner, and I can be emotionally safe. I can express my boundaries and my needs. I can be interdependent. I don't have to be hyper independent. You're helping them learn, I can depend on myself and I can depend on you, right? This is what happens when we help our partners have corrective emotional experiences. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. I'm going to briefly review these 7 things because I want you just to make sure you got them all. Number 1 was clarity on your wants and needs. Number 2, they need to know that you're capable of self-soothing, that both partners are capable of self-soothing. Number 3 is honoring boundaries. Number 4, you need to be able to give your partner space and time and understand that the pacing may be slower. And number 5, you want to encourage them to have their life, encourage their hobbies, encourage their friendships. And when they invite you into their world, you want to make sure that you can do your best to be there and be present. Number 6 is recognizing your partner's love language. It may be that it's acts of service and that's how they're showing up, right? And number 7, empathic listening and corrective emotional experiences. I hope this was helpful. I certainly enjoyed this episode. Let's make sure that we are helping the people in our lives who are on the internet and maybe they're getting information from places that isn't actually helpful. Can you send them this episode or share my podcast with them or just even talk with them about what you learned? I am on this mission to just help as many people as possible have healthy, great relationships that are securely attached. And it really means the world to me when you help me help other people. All right, y'all. I'm sending you so much love, of course. Oh, and if you didn't know, you can get your very own Boundaries Are Hot hats. This is designed by me, high quality. And the cool thing is I get to see who's ordering. And I can tell you, I've seen so many people from the podcast. Like, I know I haven't seen you anywhere else. I know you're just a loyal podcast listener. And it just means the world to me. I'm a small business, right? And anytime you support me, it just means the world. So you can use the link in the show notes to order your very own Boundaries Are Hot hat. And obviously, it's sending the world the message that you are healing, you're becoming securely attached, and you're celebrating your movement towards secure attachment. So it's just like a great conversation starter and a fun way to show the world that you're on your healing journey. So link is in the show notes for that. Of course, I'm wishing you high self-worth and great relationships. I'll talk to you soon.